This week we are joined by Cory and Sam, the makers of the Fallout fan film, Kill 'Em Kindly.
Is Quake making a comeback? Is Skyrim finally going to make it into the Hall of Fame? And scientists get a clump of human brain cells to play Doom?
Hi everybody, welcome back to Bethesda Unpatched. This is episode number 36. I am Joe the Wigit, and I am joined by... I didn't write it down, dude.
You never write it down?
Yeah, the man with a master plan, who is the space trucker extraordinaire, Kilo.
Okay. Well, I mean, you could have sold it a little harder, but that's fine.
Yeah,
How's it going, guys?
I had a perfect one last week, and I just completely spaced it.
Well, I told you to write it down, too. I warned you. Okay, well, listen. That aside, we have a great episode today. We are super excited. We do have some news. But we also, if you're watching on video, you can probably already tell this, we have a couple of wonderful guests with us today. I would like to introduce Cory Haynes.
What's up, guys?
I waffled on her name because I asked her the pronunciation before we started recording. I'm going to go with Sam Conde. Okay,
or was
that
it
works.
Conde?
Conde. I don't know. Sam and Cory are a couple of filmmakers who they got my attention on Instagram when I saw a trailer for their new fan film, Kill 'Em Kindly, which looks absolutely amazing. I'm so excited. I hit Cory up right away. Such a great guy. He right away agreed to come join us on the podcast, even gave us a shout out on one of his shorts on YouTube. Thank you for that. So we are super excited to talk to these two. Before we do that, we're going to go ahead and get into our news, and then we'll have our conversation with Cory and Sam. Cory and Sam, of course, feel free to jump in. What did I miss?
The fact that Kill 'Em Kindly is a Fallout fan film.
It's a Fallout fan film. Did I say Fallout?
Nope.
It's a Fallout fan film.
That's why they're here.
You know, you have about a 20% failure rate on the episode title, and
I think it's more than that.
And episode number.
I actually got through in one take. I was just trying to impress our guests, not 3 or 4.
Okay.
It worked.
Are they impressed?
I'm impressed. Yes.
Cory's impressed. So, okay, you're giving them way too much credit. Let's get in the news.
Extra, read all about it in the news this week.
All right, we got more Doom stuff. We have to.
We do.
And one of our articles we'll get into in a little bit, another interesting way people are using or playing Doom. And this one's kind of weird.
Asterisk? Yeah, that's a little weird. Well, one thing we did talk about last week is the connection between Microsoft and Blizzard. Of course, Microsoft owns Blizzard as well as Zenimax Studios, which Bethesda, so on. So, and we were talking about a little bit about that, about the possibility of adding value to Game Pass.
Right.
Well, we have a different kind of collaboration here. Right now, in Diablo 4, you can get Doom. It's Diablo 4's Season of Slaughter. You can unlock special cosmetic rewards themed after Doom: The Dark Ages.
See, I didn't think Blizzard would go in. Well, it makes sense. They're both studios owned by Microsoft, so that that definitely gives studios more opportunity to collaborate. Forcefully.
Oh yeah. I mean, it doesn't get much more perfect than that. Doom and Diablo. So match made in hell.
They really are. Good call on that one. My brain went to match made in heaven, and then immediately went, no, that's hell. And then you said it. It was just perfect.
I got you. That's what
some of the stuff is pretty cool. I don't play Diablo 4 anymore because it was a letdown in the get-go, but I'm glad to see they're still doing stuff with it. Yeah.
Yeah, they got the Slayer's Flail, and apparently a back trophy fashioned from a cyber demon head, which is metal. Absolutely love that. Additionally, slaying layer bosses has the chance to drop a Doom chest, including unique Doom, Crucible, Transmogs found only in the chest, and reskinning players' existing weapons to match the glowing red blade wielded by the Doomslayer.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome. Now, this one was interesting. Timmer222, he's a regular listener of ours. He's a regular listener of King. I think he listens to pretty much everybody that took place in StarCon. But he brought this up to me first, and this was actually before the tease, quote unquote. And it was a little bit of a shift in the personnel at Bethesda, specifically Zenimax Online Studios. Now, we know that Project Blackbird was canceled back in July, but then we saw a LinkedIn profile of a developer who had moved from Zenimax Online Studios to Bethesda. I believe it was in October. She left Zenimax in October. She's now in January started with Bethesda Game Studios. And in her resume or on LinkedIn, she stated that she had been part of a multiplayer game from 5 to 15 players up far past when Project Blackbird was canceled, which means that there was another unnamed multiplayer game in the works at Zenimax, and it looks like that game is Quake.
I hope so. As most of you guys know, I'm an ex-game designer, and my very first project I ever got on while I was going to college was Quake 3 Arena. I got hired on as a tester. Like the dream job for a college kid who's a big gamer. It's the must-have. And then I always loved Quake and Quake 2, and when I found out that this mysterious project I was interviewing for was Quake 3 Arena, I think I lost my shit. And then when I got hired, it was even worse. And, and during the little quick story, during the hiring process, I found out about this little thing that's well known in the industry called the peanut butter and jelly exam. And they basically ask you to describe in as much detail as you can how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I went in and described how many steps it took to get to the cupboard, to get to the bread, the exact direction I undid the tie on the bread, and extreme detail. And it wound up getting me the job. So,
well, this tease that we're getting, and I put that in quotation marks, it's the fact that the company has reestablished or renewed, thank you, the copyright for Quake, which usually happens before a release. So that's what we know. And even Timmer was actually mentioned in this article on EGW News by name because he's the one that first noticed it. So keep an eye out. May or may not be a new Quake coming, which I think would be amazing. And it is right.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about this.
The speculation that I've heard, what little there is that there may or may not, and again, this is speculation, grain of salt, all that, be something revealed at QuakeCon 26.
Yeah, I saw one. You know how they have these advertisements all the time for their next article, the next read? And on this article, it says, new Fallout game reportedly scrapped at Xbox. For one, Xbox isn't doing it. And two, that's complete BS. These rumors and these false...
Well, you just saved us time because that was another one of the articles. Yeah, the rumor was that Microsoft has designated another studio to take over Fallout and make a Fallout game. An insider supposedly said this. Again, grain of salt. There's never anything necessarily mentioned. And personally, I think that this is just to take the heat off of a Fallout New Vegas remake, as was definitely not. I'm doing air quotes a lot today. It's embarrassing. It's definitely not a Fallout New Vegas game in the works at Iron Galaxy.
Well, we know that the main titles are always done at Bethesda, and we know that they are making Fallout 5, but no. It could be, though, it could be early development on a side game. So like what Fallout New Vegas was. Bethesda didn't make that game. They gave it to someone else to do, so.
Right. Entirely possible. What? How about some Skyrim? How about Skyrim?
More
is one of the finalists to be inducted into the 2026 Video Game Hall of Fame this year.
Oh, it has to. I don't think there's a game that has had more legs than Skyrim.
I don't think so. And its competition is League of Legends and Silent Hill.
No way, man.
Nah.
No.
Silent Hill, League of Legends, maybe thanks to Arcane, the
Yeah.
TV show, maybe.
And they are the juggernaut of the esports arena. They are what basically got esports on the map. But other than that,
I don't.
no. I think Skyrim has that.
I don't think so either. And I think Silent Hill would be a good contender, but I don't see it doing what Skyrim is a single game.
Mm-hmm.
Silent Hill has been a series. It's been remade. But Skyrim has been played nonstop for like the last 16 years.
There's still thousands of people that are still playing it, as you can see on Steam reports. And Silent Hill is one of those nostalgic names. So when you hear that, like, oh yeah, I used to play that back in the PlayStation 1 days, and then there's not much else than that.
Did we talk about the Fallout 3 remaster release window off the air or on the air?
We talked about it off the air.
It was off the air. Okay,
Yes.
well, apparently McFarlane Toys put out, or a retailer or something, had put out a list of new products upcoming, and a set of Nuka-Cola Power Armor was listed as being from the Fallout 3 remaster. This isn't really any confirmation, although, I don't know, there's a lot of leaks lately. It's been a little bit crazy.
Well, because people are just chomping at the bit to get anything from Bethesda.
Right.
Especially if it's Fallout related.
My therapist says that's because people's brains don't like ambiguity. Which is nice because it keeps us in business, so I'll take that.
Yeah, that's true. We'll take it.
Here's the one that I was really excited that I saw. It says Fallout 5, again rumored, to have massive Great Lakes setting. This was from Chicago Today.
Ooh.
It's rumored, and it's based in part off the fact that, you know, Todd Howard had said that the show was heading towards the direction of the next Fallout. Now, we know we're going to Colorado.
But that could literally mean thousands of options.
There's plenty of options. But the fact that they said Chicago, and they're like, oh, maybe the Great Lakes region, that would be awesome, because I want to see Fallout in Detroit.
When an article starts out, details about the next Fallout game are scarce. However, a popular fan theory, that's where it's a big red flag right there.
Yeah, it's according to fan speculation. Bethesda's focused on the development of Elder Scrolls. It's basically. I just got excited because they're like, Great Lakes area. I'm like, that would be awesome. Give me Chicago. Give me Detroit. Give me Detroit, baby.
Well, we're chomping at the bit
don't give me
for
Chicago.
anything Fallout
I go
related.
to Chicago every Sunday. I freaking hate it.
Yeah, let's not going to get started on this episode.
Hey, it's not Ohio, right?
True, that could be far worse.
Speaking of which, there's a bunch of, and this is actually related to Fallout 76, there was recently a bunch of Bigfoot sightings not far from Michigan in Ohio.
No way.
I thought that was hilarious.
I'm in LA. I'm in one of the most hated cities in the world right now, too. So.
Oh, you know what I also saw? Remember how we talked last week about the patent for the Gamer Helper AI?
Mm-hmm.
Sony just came out and said that they're doing the same thing.
Of course. They can't let Microsoft have the limelight in that atrocity.
One thing to bring to everybody's attention is that a bunch of people are currently playing the new build of Starfield, presumably the new update.
Well, that's been going on for a while.
Well, I understand that, but the big news is that NDA embargo ends on March 17th.
You know what's part of that NDA is not saying when it ends. So whoever said that, they violated
this is
their
from
NDA.
Jaredus on Recitara. I don't even know what the hell Recitara is. This comes from X. You know, that's not even a great source.
No.
I have to admit that, because we were just talking about how someone on X just trolled a bunch of people.
We preach all the time, be careful, and look at what we're doing.
That's right. Microsoft announces free cross-platform tools for developers, which is very exciting. This is something, I don't know, Microsoft, I can see doing it. Sony, ever since Asha took over, I've noticed Sony seems to be digging in on their exclusives a lot more. I feel like Sony isn't very keen on cross-platform as much as Microsoft is.
I'm reading this article really quick. This is
Go for it.
Very interesting. Yeah, cross-platform is something that should have been already established from the get-go. Like, there's several games from Bethesda that we wish were cross-platform right now. ESO Fallout 76, which should have been. So yeah, this is good news, and it's free. It's a nightmare to code for, but these tools make it a lot easier, and it should be just shipped with all the games coming out going forward.
Fingers crossed.
Yep.
Also, I read another article today that the Xbox website, the Everything is an Xbox campaign has been completely removed from the website.
Really?
So that does smell a lot of let's get rid of what Sarah Bond was doing.
Yep.
And this is Asha taking over. So it's going to be, like I said, they're going to bring it back to Xbox. Is what they've been talking about. Our last article today.
What are you playing on? What are you playing Doom on?
This is wild. A petri dish of human neurons has learned to play Doom. Quote, the cells play a lot like a beginner who's never seen a computer, and in fairness, they haven't.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. Doesn't see anything. How? I gotta dive in this article. Because that is crazy.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
The CL1, the world's first code-developed deployable biological computer.
Biological computer, yep.
We know about, in the IT industry, we know a lot about the biocomputers and how that's something they've been trying to push for a long time and figure out, because the human brain works faster than any computer can by magnitude of millions, and they're trying to get that working on a chip. And yeah, there's some computers that are pretty nuts that are super expensive, and okay, I can see this as a possibility.
So this is Cortical Labs, and they recently trained the same, in a similar situation, trained brain cells to play Pong. Mm-hmm. And they decided to update it, up the challenge a little bit.
That's a big upgrade.
Yeah. Doom, this is quote Dr. Brett Kagan. Doom was much more complex than Pong. Doom is chaos. It's 3D. It has enemies. It has an explorable environment, and it's hard. So basically what they needed to do is translate the digital world of Doom into the biological language of neurons, which is electricity.
Well, technically in its core, it already is. That's what zeros and ones are.
Well, right. So basically the video feed from Doom was mapped to different patterns of electrical stimulation, which is sent to the cells, where they react with brain activity that can be interpreted and mapped to actions in game. That is so crazy.
Is it just random actions, or is it actually consciously trying to play the game? Is my big question.
It is learning. If the neurons fire in a specific pattern, Doom guy will shoot while a different pattern will cause him to move. This is basically these are brain cells. They're actually teaching these cells to play the game. That's wild. I don't know if we're gonna ever teach that or beat that. Dr. Kagan says this. So can the cells learn to play Doom? Yes. They're receiving information. They're sending commands to move the character around. They're able to find enemies and shoot.
I'll tell you what, though. If they train those rats that we talked about a few episodes ago that were playing Doom, if one of them actually beats Doom...
That would be embarrassing for me. So.
Listen,
I think a lot of people would be embarrassed by that.
I want to see the YouTube live where we have rats. Let's put the Doom rats in Quake, and then we'll put the brain cells in Quake. Arena, right? And we'll just have them go at it. And we'll see if the human brain cells or the rats win next. That's absolutely insane. Okay, that's enough news for this week. Got a couple awesome guests here. Don't want to keep them waiting anymore. Let's get into the main topic.
Main topic.
Hey there, Vault Dweller. The Wasteland can be a treacherous place. But don't worry, your Vault Tech training will keep you safe.
You guys!
We are sheep to be slaughtered.
There's nothing to worry about.
Well, shit.
All right, thank you, Cory and Sam, for hanging in there with us. Really appreciate it. Again, great to have you on the show. I'd love for each of you just to take a second and tell the audience a little bit about who you are.
Sure. So my name's Cory Haynes. I go by Tactical Dork on social media and YouTube or whatever
Love
else.
the name.
Yeah, I don't remember how I came up with it, if I'm being honest. I think maybe it was just available. But in my early life or my young adult life, I did exist kind of in the tactical realm or whatever. I did 4 years active duty in the Army, in the infantry. Got out, and I was an instructor in the reserve for another 4 years. Did 2 deployments to Iraq, OIF 1, OIF 4, to age myself a lot. Got out of that, and then just kind of I think I was the oldest person on the last podcast I was on. So if I'm not on this one, that's a win. But yeah, so anyway, I got out of the service and kind of just like malingered around for a little bit, and then ended up in law enforcement. And then 2021, I fell into filmmaking just by luck. Somebody had to drop out of a project last second, and a friend of a friend of a friend called me and was like, "Hey, can you come fill in?" And I was like, "Well, I don't act." And they're like, "Oh, we're not going to let you act. You're just going to run around and do tactical stuff." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I drove 6 hours to Missouri, and that film was SCP Overlord, if you've ever seen it. I think it sits at like 26 million views now. That thing just absolutely went wild. But I made a lot of friends on set, and they offered to help me make my first film, which was Siege. And it's kind of just been all downhill from there. And now we're here.
You sure
Now we're
that was
here.
downhill?
Yeah.
That sounds pretty uphill.
There's
to
a
me.
lot of uphill. Oh, there's a lot of uphill, but yeah. It's been a snowball effect. Maybe that's what I should have said.
Sam, tell us about yourself a little bit.
Oh.
You had to know you were coming up.
I don't know
Short
what to
list.
say. I don't know. I guess like for work and for fun, I'm a digital producer. So for the most part, I handle a lot of like logistics and planning. But I've always been a very like creative person. So I think film was something I just kind of got interested in. When I started seeing Cory and the stuff he was working on, I was like, dang, I could do that. And instead of trying to do it by myself, I think the best possible option was to work with people who are already doing it in a space that was already present. I started off just being very nerdy. Like I never really thought I could ever like create anything. But then I think the more I did my job, which was working more like corporate digital content for like commercial purposes, I was like, oh, I could do this like for the things I like too. And that's kind of I think how I started getting into it. And since then I just like making the things I like making, but everybody's got a day job, so thankfully mine is still quite fun. I get to make content around like motorcycles and action sports, so it's a lot of fun, but just kind of creating is something that I think I've really, really enjoyed doing.
I think we can relate.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
I've actually always wanted to get into the
100%.
film space, but never knew how or had the means. So I'm a podcaster.
Yeah. We're podcasters. I'm a podcaster. How do we end up in video? I don't even have a face for video.
Yeah, I don't either.
So
It doesn't work.
So how did Cory and Sam? How did you two end up working together?
We knew each other through airsoft. We're both airsoft nerds, and
Okay.
I
very
think
nice.
we met. Yeah, we met around that same time frame. I think I had just done Overlord, so we were at an event, and we met there. And I want to say in that same year, Sam had actually done a short film of her own with a friend or a couple of her friends in LA. And I've always dabbled in VFX. I do all my own VFX currently for my films. And she had sent it over to me to help edit and add some VFX and just some little touch-ups to it. And then we've been friends since then, just doing airsoft and now this nerdier shit. So
Hey, nerdier shit's where it's at, man.
yeah.
We rule the world.
Seriously. We're cool now. That's the thing. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
it is
When I was
weird.
playing Battletech and writing sci-fi in high school, not cool. Now it's cool.
I was the weird kid sitting like in the corner of the classroom just doodling, but like making the noises of like the guns that were shooting in my doodles, you know, like the and all that shit.
Pew pew.
And you
Amazing.
know, yeah, and my teachers would tell my parents, they're like, he has a really hard time focusing. Like he needs to focus on his work, but I never started focusing on work, and now I get to make movies. So don't listen to your parents or teachers.
Exactly. Everyone
Yeah.
told me I couldn't be an author, and I have 2 books published now, so suck it.
Yeah, there
My
you go.
fourth grade teacher, Mr. Poe, said that I would never be paid to look out a window. This is a true story. He actually said that.
It's funny.
Now I'm a truck driver. That's exactly what I get paid to do.
He looks out a window every day.
Perfect. Got him.
Got him. So okay, so Cory, I went to your YouTube and I watched all the videos actually that were on there. A lot of really great stuff. A lot of very tactical things. Take me on a little bit of a journey of how you got from that tactical style of filmmaking, or at least the narrative, the content, tactical content, to something that looks like something out of the Wild West in a nuclear wasteland that is Kill 'Em Kindly, your upcoming film. What was that jump like for you?
It's one I've always wanted to make. Social media does a really good job of pushing you into a corner and telling you what you need to create. And I've always loved Westerns. Like, growing up, I would stay up late with my dad, and there's always like a John Wayne movie on, or there's a Clint Eastwood movie on. And so the spaghetti Western is like something that's super near and dear to my heart. And so whenever we started discussing possibly doing a Fallout film, it has like, it's almost like a mix of like 40s, 50s vibes, I guess. Like maybe even all the way back to like the 20s, but also like the spaghetti Western, like mashed into one. And so whenever we first started talking about Kill 'Em Kindly, I was like, I want to do a spaghetti Western. And she wants to do a Fallout film. Well, let's just mash them together.
Yeah,
so
those
that's
two
kind of how we came.
Really worked well together, don't they?
Yeah. And I mean, if you go back and you watch the old spaghetti Westerns, man, like, they're kind of hilarious. Like the premise of them is like just so goofy and over the top. And I mean, Fallout just plays into that really, really, really well. So it really wasn't super hard getting there. Also, I live in Oklahoma, so everybody thinks we're cowboys down here.
Oh, you're yeehaw as hell, yeah.
Yeah. So no, I think that's how we got there.
So Sam, was this your idea? Like what was the conversation like that started this?
I think it was Cory's idea. I could be wrong.
I think were we working on Vestige at the time? I think it was when we were working on Vestige, or it might have been Black Meridian. I can't remember. It was one or the other because we were on both sets. We were talking about Fallout, and it was just kind of like, we should do a Fallout film. But I don't know anything about Fallout. She just knows everything about Fallout, so it's pretty easy. So that's kind of how most movies come about, is somebody has half of an idea and the other person has the other half, and then you get it across the finish line. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely a collaborative effort every time.
So I normally ask this at the beginning, but I really only have one of you that can answer this question. Sam, what is your favorite Bethesda game and why?
Okay. It is a Fallout.
Okay.
We might be a little controversial here. I know everybody always goes to New Vegas, but 3 is my favorite.
When I hear actually
3 was my first.
I hear that more than anything else is Fallout 3.
I like 3. I think from the moment like you start playing it, what caught me is that Liam Neeson's your dad. I was like, wait, I know this voice. What? And I think just stuff like that can really make a game very special.
Absolutely.
Just because you don't expect it.
No.
But the storyline I thought was very interesting, and I think what happens actually for me, why Fallout 3 is so impactful, is because it was like actually one of the first video games that I was introduced to, and I was like allowed to play or like not allowed to play, and then like, okay, I guess you can play it. My cousin had brought a copy with him while he was visiting, and I must have been like, I don't know, 12 or something like that, maybe younger. I really don't remember. And he left the copy at my house, and I'm looking at like the Vault Boy in the back, and I'm like, oh my god, like, what is this game? It looks so fun. But my dad is like, no, you're not allowed to play it. And so I think
how old were you at this time?
I was I remember being in this house, so I think I must have been like 11, 12 maybe
Wow,
a bit younger. So yeah, I was like, don't play that game. But then I got older, and I ended up moving around, and so I had access to an Xbox and access to the game, and my dad wasn't there, so I started playing it.
That's fun.
And I had no idea what I was doing. I've never played a game like that before. And I think just all of these elements that had like come together made it really fun for me. And now it's just such a nostalgic thing that like I know if I go back to play it, like
It's in your bones.
I've probably done
Yeah.
just about everything you can do in the game, but still a nice thing to go back to.
That's amazing. That's a good choice. I mean, if you're gonna choose between Liam Neeson being your dad or being shot in the face by Chandler Bing, I say go with Liam Neeson every time.
Yeah.
That's just me. Very cool. So, okay, well, let's talk about this project a little bit. I'm really, really intrigued. What were you going for? What was your goal with Kill 'Em Kindly, as far as the story and what you wanted to bring out of? I guess this would especially be a Sam question. What you wanted to bring out of it as a project, like for you from the Fallout universe.
I think story-wise, Cory might be better to answer that question, but from like elements from the universe, we had discussed things like perks, lightly discussed things like VATS, just this idea of like dark humor, blunt humor.
Yeah, it's
I
Fallout.
think there were a lot of staples of
Fallout.
the game that, that just make Fallout that we felt like could very easily translate into the script. When we were writing it, or he was writing it and I was revising or just throwing in some notes, there were times where I thought like, okay, I think to make this more Fallout-y, we'd really have to like niche down on this character. And so like if he's like a religious character, then like he should be quoting scripture. That's something like they would do in Fallout. And so I think that like we tried to take elements of it. For me especially, I had seen a lot of Fallout fan films or fan shows and stuff like that. And one of the biggest things I didn't want to do was overdo it. I didn't want to bring every single element we know of Fallout into this film. I wanted to just have a couple of things and then let that kind of create the space.
So you definitely wanted it to stand. You wanted to make it recognizable, make it a treat for the audience, but also be its own standalone thing.
Yes. What I will say also, this is a conversation we had very early on, is that like even the costuming was something we considered because the live action had already existed. There are great cosplay options for like the vault suit. But nothing that we, like on our limited budget, we're going to be able to do that would stand up to what the series was doing. So we essentially found a way to like mimic the suit, but alter it in a way that makes sense, I think, for our environment. So things like that, I think we wanted to relate to the universe, but also we didn't want to like try and compete because we knew we weren't going to be able to do that.
Right.
That's fair. Yeah.
Okay. That is fair, absolutely. So, Cory, then, from the story standpoint, what was your approach, coming from what I've seen of your stuff to what you've been wanting to tell that story? Tell us about that.
Man, okay, I like doing world building, and the way I do it, I mean, my process is essentially, you know, we needed a location. We needed a location that looked like a wasteland. And in my mind, I already knew where to go, which was Roosevelt, Oklahoma. We played airsoft out there before, and it's just it's like a 5 mile, like 5 square miles of junkyard. And all the buildings there are partially collapsed. It's literally just like a town that's like withering away.
Literally perfect.
And so I got in contact with somebody who knew the guy who essentially owns the town. He owns every building in that town just about. And a really cool guy named George. And he kind of gave us free run of the place. So you go out there, you scout it out, you see where things could possibly take place. Things that look good, things that look kind of Fallout-ish and stuff like that, at least from my limited knowledge of what it looks like. And then you kind of just give it a story, like make people exist in that space, give your main character something to do. And my approach for this one specifically, because it is that type of like role-playing game, in my mind, the way it works is you have a main character that you kind of project yourself into. That's why, you know, everybody hates Master Cheeks because they gave him a face, you know, and it's not your face. But essentially the character walks into a place. She has a mission, but along the way, like, you go into these areas where everybody has a story. Like, everybody exists there and has done something, and you talk to these NPCs, and you learn about it. So that was kind of my approach. Is a lot of the information and exposition that you get about this world is from her talking to people and kind of getting their experience there. And a lot of the experiences are all linked together, and they catapult her into like this big collision course at the end that turns into a cool little action scene. But that was kind of my approach. We wanted to do like you have to have a shootout in a Western, right?
Yeah.
So there's probably one in there. And then there's just all these cool characters that are trying their best to live in the Wild Wild West. Like, everything's reverted back, but they don't come from the Wild Wild West, right? They come from post-apocalypse. So it's like everything's kind of just a little off, which we thought was really, really funny. So that kind of, I think, covers it. Yeah, that was kind of like
a
the
blast.
approach, was just get a cool location, give a character something to do within the location, and then give her a cool story.
Honestly, that was probably the bit that got my attention right off the rip, was the gunslinger. They got like the gunplay. Like, I'm huge, like Tombstone, hands down. I will fight anybody. Maybe not you,
ever made.
Either of you actually, but I would fight anybody over Tombstone. Is my favorite Western of all time. So that definitely caught my attention. What's the runtime on this? Because I know you've done some longer ones before. What's the total runtime that we're looking at here?
I think this one's right up around 20 minutes currently.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty. Oh man, dude, that's absolutely amazing. And is there anything that you can tell us, maybe a little more detail about the plot, about what's going on? We have 151 girl. Is there anything else that you can tell us without giving too much away?
What I can tell you, it's a new vault. And from what I've learned, pretty much every vault is a different type of a social experiment, or even, just a straight up experiment on human beings.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So this one was an experiment on what a civilization would be like if they lived under martial law. And essentially this vault was trained to pretty much, whenever everything was said and done, come back over and take over the wasteland and reestablish everything. So this was going to be like a privatized army, which is cool because there is a vault.
Really cool.
There is a vault on the map that I don't think really has a number, but it's right about where we shot, and it's right in between two military bases. So it makes a lot of sense. That
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And that was a little bit of luck, and maybe it wasn't. I don't know, but that's just kind of how it worked out. So we thought that was really cool. They were also doing experiments to make them like very loyal super soldier types, and it has side effects, and those come into play. So
we know in the Fallout lore that there's 122 confirmed vaults. I think 122 or 121, something like that. So 151, that would be, well, that's definitely a new one. So that kind of gave you guys free reign to do what you want with it, because it's not established in lore.
Yeah, exactly.
Has anyone brought that up?
Well,
Says that, oh no, it's deal breaker because there's only 122 vaults. And
I brought it up, and also I'm the one who numbered the vault. But here's my dual part theory. One is that, like, sometimes when you number projects, some of them are seen through and some of them are not. So maybe we have 1 to 10 that we create, but we only do 1, 4, 7, and 8. And so, like, how many vaults is that? That's actually only 4, but like the numbers don't add up to 10. So like that's part 1. Part 2 is
I
that
see what you're going with it. Yeah.
There's only 122, right? Like, there's only so many numbers that we can pick out of that like actually are still available and like have a ring to it, and that's not many. So I think we are trying to get away with going just a little bit over.
I like it.
Yeah.
With one.
Yeah. Well, and you had also mentioned that like there's Fallout vaults in other games that are like non-canon, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there are. I think the great move with that is it gives, again, what Wigit said, it gives you free reign. You can do whatever you want with it. If the established lore is only 122 vaults, then there's no stepping on anybody's toes as far as Bethesda or anybody is concerned, you know, so it gives you a little bit of freedom. Yeah, that's really interesting. So let's see, how long did it take you to shoot?
4 days. 4 days of shooting, and then like a half day of travel on both sides.
I would
Okay.
add in Fifth Day for the stuff we did with Scott.
Oh yeah, we did do one off location on a separate day for the guy who plays like the who does all the orientation videos.
Okay.
Yeah, an actor buddy of mine named Scott Crabb. He acted in Stalker with me. He was like the team leader. Great dude. But we brought him in for a day of shooting right in the middle of a massive snowstorm. We were able to sneak him in and then sneak him out of Dallas like in about 5 hours. And then it took me like 8 hours to get home driving in this crazy ice storm.
No,
But,
man.
Oh, that's right.
Worth it. Yeah, no, that crazy storm. Yeah, that's why we did it during.
Yeah, it's like your timeline showed you guys are filming in December. It's like, oh, okay, that was fun.
Yeah. It was like the last date we could get everybody. Yeah, I had a good time. Sam might have been a little cold, but I get to wear whatever I want behind the camera. But it was like the last date we could get everybody available, or else we were gonna have to push it probably to like May, and we just didn't want to do it. So we ran through it, and it was cold. Like the first day, we had been out there like 2 weeks prior to do a walkthrough, and it was like 65 degrees. And then we go out there for day one of shooting, and there's snow on the ground. So we did interior shots, so we didn't have to worry about it.
I'm the only northerner here, so I was one of the guys up here laughing at everybody down there getting snow for the first time in years.
Yeah, it's different in Oklahoma, though, because there is absolutely nothing to block wind. I've been in dry cold, and dry cold is bearable. Cold with 25 to 40 mile an hour winds is like a different monster.
It's
right to the bones.
It was our second or third day where we're filming. Like the streets in this town are super narrow, and there's just a scene where the character's walking into town and runs into one of the bad guys. And I mean, the wind was just blowing like 20 miles an hour the whole time. And it was probably the shortest shots that we did on the entire set, but it was miserable. It was like 2 hours of just pain.
Yeah, suffer for art, right?
Oh, always.
Right.
I mean, I'll make my actors suffer for art. I'll be warm.
Right, you'll
Right.
be all bundled and warm.
Yeah, he's got the heat pouches in his pockets and
Oh yeah, I had a heater right next to me. Big old hoodie on. I was good to go.
it's tough being the boss. So so since we pretty much heard about that interesting snowstorm from Cory, Sam, tell me an interesting story about the production or your favorite moment from making Kill Him Kindly, or maybe a horrible moment, whatever pops into your head.
Whatever's
What
amusing.
pops into my head is a horrible moment. But, gosh, what I will say is it was cold. It was freezing and it was windy, and on the last day of filming on site in Oklahoma, I was like on the floor a lot, and the floor is cold, and so it was cold all the time. But overall, I think the coolest thing is that I personally didn't think that I could ever actually make something like this and do it with my friends, do it with people that I actually get along with, and it could go as smooth as it went. Of course, there was a bunch of hiccups. Something that I personally learned is that moving forward, I cannot be both executive producer, on-site producer, and lead actress, because that makes me really itchy, apparently. Something I didn't know was ever going to happen. I was itchy every day on set, breaking out
Just
in
from the
hives.
nerves.
Just from the nerves, yeah. Making sure people are fed, but also, do I remember my lines? The answer is no, because I didn't spend any time learning them because I was planning for the actual shoot. And then I'm rushing to get it all together on set, and somebody's hungry and somebody doesn't know where the bathroom is. And so I think it was a lot. I'm very proud, however, of the work that everybody did on set. There were at times miserable conditions, but people pulled it together, and you couldn't tell. I think if you didn't hear this interview, you could not tell that we were all freezing cold on
No,
set.
it looks like sweltering desert in the trailer.
Yes. So I'm very
Yeah, you
impressed.
just add a little warmth in the color grade. It
Yeah,
hides
right.
everything.
I was gonna say, editing
Saw that
works wonders.
So is this going to be a standalone? Are you looking to make another Fallout movie in the future?
I think it's one of those things where it'll just kind of depend how it's accepted and how well it does. We're both proud of it. Like we've watched it probably 1,000 times now, doing edits and everything. And it's just kind of like up to the audience as to whether or not, you know, they want more of the story, because there is more story to go. Like you could follow a different character for one, or we could continue her character. There's a million different ways to go with it and go forward, because it's Fallout. You know, it seems
Fallout.
like it's a wide open universe, so you can do anything with it.
Possibilities are
so it'll
endless.
kind of depend on just how it performs. Fortunately, like out of nowhere, my YouTube caught a bunch of traction over the past 2 weeks, and
Nice.
so I really look forward to getting this on there to kind of, you know, YouTube likes consistency. So I think we have that working in our favor. The quality of this film is ridiculous. For the budget that
It looks amazing.
which is kind of, you know, if there was one thing I would brag on, like my team, what we're able to do is to make, you know, high quality films on dime store budgets. It's insane what we pull off.
Seriously.
You know,
It's like the video game world too.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, Vestige, we shot over 3 days. It was Sam, my friend Cole, and Aaron, she AD'd for me on that one. We did it for $1,000, like $1,000 to make a 10-minute film. Normally, like even in the B movie range, you're looking at like $3,000 per finished minute on the low end. So the fact that we're doing that means everybody's doing 15 jobs, and everybody's doing favors. The best I can normally do is food. And that makes most people happy, because getting to make a film is cool, and you know, most people just want to participate. But you know, we do it because we're friends and we like doing it. And so
that's awesome.
That's how some of the best projects and the best things have been made. We were just had an idea, a bunch of friends got together and made it happen.
That's what I enjoy about it the most. It's just art is something I'm super, super passionate about. Like I do digital painting, I do sketch art, I do animation, I do all of it. And film is my favorite form of it, because it brings every single piece of art that you could possibly imagine together. Like
brings
music, film, drawing, writing, everything. It's such a huge collaborative effort. And then the set is like asymmetrical warfare. It's just problems all over the place that you're just trying to address as you're trying to make like this piece of art. And so, you know, to push through something like that, have your friends there with you while you do it, and then get it out and see how people enjoy it. I just don't think you get that with anything else. Like I've been painting and drawing for years, and it's just not the same. Even if people are like, "Cool picture, man," but you know, when people watch our films, like, and it seems goofy to me because like Siege is just such a dumb movie. It's just fun. It's goofy. It's just straight action. I didn't trust anybody to deliver a line of dialogue. You know, half the people I don't even talk to anymore. But it was just this goofy film that like last week blew up. Just blew up.
Who was playing Doc in that? The medic.
That's Jessen Bateman. He is
Jessen
an
Bateman.
actual.
That's his name.
Yeah, he is an actual surgeon that works at a tier 1 like hospital, or a trauma 1 in I think Jacksonville, Florida. He's like their head of anesthesiology now.
Wow.
He worked with a guy named Jay Paisley, who is he's a CAG guy, or a Delta operator as most people know him. And they kind of established modern TCCC for like the military. So anybody who, like, we had a comment the other day where somebody was trying to rip on our medical stuff, and they're like, "You didn't address his wound." Well, yeah, you're being shot at, and anybody knows that like the first step in combat trauma is to like, or combat triage is to return fire. And so he's like, "Oh yeah, actually, by the way, guy, I wrote the book. Shut up," you know. And so yeah, that's my good friend. That's my good friend Jessen. Yeah, it's just people will reach out and they'll be like, "How did you do that? How did you pull that off? You guys inspire us. We want to do our first film." And I try my best to like stay in contact with those people, because my buddy Wayne, like coming from Overlord, that dude stepped up for me, did not know me from Adam. And I showed interest in film, and he's like, "If you want to do one, I'll show up." And when he showed up, he brought about $1 million worth of equipment with him, people to help.
Oh, wow.
Filmed the whole thing. I made it just as miserable as I possibly could, was not prepared. And, you know, here in about 2 hours, it's going to hit 100,000 views. So
that's awesome.
Oh, wow.
2 years later. But I mean, it's really cool. And it's something I take it personally. And I mean, like I said, I bring all my friends into it. I want them to have a good time. I want them to love what I love. And I don't know. I'm getting sappy, and I kind of lost my train of thought. But that's what film is to me.
Well,
No,
let's
that's
go back
great.
to kill.
Love the passion.
Let's
on
go
it.
back to Kill 'Em. Yeah, we don't mind at all. We rarely stay on plan here. Let's go back to Kill 'Em Kindly. Who is it? Is there anybody in the cast from the other films that I've seen?
Sam's been in 2 now. Cole
Yeah.
has been in every single one of them, I think. Aaron has been in.
Aaron
He
has
has
a
a
cameo.
very small. He has a very small part in this one. He was busy that
Cameo.
week. But he's been in 3. Austin and I acted in 1. He's done voiceover work for me, and then he's one of the main characters in this one.
Okay.
And then on the other side of the camera, Wyatt, who is one of our gaffers, Wayne Gassman from Gas Media, who's DP'd for me like numerous times, and then Karen, who's AD'd and been a scripty for me like numerous times. I try to pull them in as much as I can afford to. It's always kind of circling around the same group of people.
Right.
Sometimes people make it in and sometimes people don't, but I try to include everybody as much as possible.
Yeah, well, I went back to the trailer after I'd watched your films on your YouTube. I'm like, okay, I was trying to pick everybody out because you guys some very. Jessen obviously is a very. It's obvious, like it's hard to not recognize him. You know, Aaron, hard to not recognize. So I was just curious because I was, who's playing the, who we see is like seems like to be the main cowboy in the trailer. Which one is that?
And I think.
Is that Daniel? Yeah, we had another buddy of mine that I had acted with who's like he was begging me to get on set and do something, and he had to cancel because he got a paying gig, which I'm never going to tell anybody to give up for my non-paying film sets. He's actually
Right.
been on Hulu a couple times. Like he's working with actual A-listers, B-listers doing bigger projects out in Atlanta. So he had to cancel last second, and he's like, but I have some guys. So we opened it up to casting like, I don't know what, 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out maybe.
Oh,
it was
close.
getting really close. And we had 4 or 5 people that all did a really good job, but the standout was Daniel. Dude, it's so funny. It's good. Like, it's really good Western cheese. Like, he just absolutely crushes
love it.
And so we were lucky to get him. He's actually, James recommended him and brought him in for us last second to audition and just knocked it out of the park. And so he came in. He's new to the crew, but definitely somebody I'll keep in the Rolodex. Just showed up and did a phenomenal job.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
I was very
I left
generously.
I left one out. Joshua Gray.
Josh.
I've acted with him. He produced Stalker. He was in Respite, which is that short little dialogue piece with the soldiers in the room. He's the blonde guy. He's
okay.
also he plays a real funny role in it too. So didn't want to leave
Awesome.
anybody out.
No, fair, absolutely fair. So I got a very generous offer from Sam over the past couple of days. She had offered us tickets to the premiere in Dallas. However, Joe is in LA with child. I am in Detroit, which is very far away. Why don't you guys tell us about this premiere and what people can expect? When is this happening? What's going on? Give us some details.
It's April 11th at the Texas Theater here in Dallas. It's going to be a lot of things, but I think for the team, it's a very big celebration. It was a very big project. I think one of the biggest, it's probably the biggest I've ever done. Seeing something like this to completion, I think is just something that not everybody gets to do. And so I think for the sake of the team is something I wanted to make sure that we could do, just because it's large and it's great. You guys haven't seen it, but I've seen it. Like Cory said,
I can't wait to
1,000
see it.
I'm pumped for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is fantastic. I'm very proud of it, and I think it just deserved to be in this space at least once. But what people can
absolutely.
expect is, we'll watch the film. There will be a Q&A. There's a networking opportunity, and then afterwards there's like a after party, so we can just hang out. And
I'm
of
already
course, like
going through my brain, like, how could I go? Can I make it
so
work?
Frontier does have round trip
Frontier.
tickets, and they're very affordable.
I'm gonna have to look into it.
If you've never been to a premiere, it's incredible, especially if you're involved on the filmmaking side of it, to get to present like I said, I get real cheesy about presenting my art to people, especially when I'm as proud of it as I am of this one. So to hear audience reactions, hear applause or whatever, I'm only assuming they're going to like it, but it's like when you get that reaction, man, oh my gosh, like it's a dopamine hit like you wouldn't believe. When we did Stalker, that was the first like actual premiere I ever did, and we sold out, I think, 4 auditoriums of 500 to 600 people.
Oh, wow.
Now we had a big YouTuber attached to the project. A lot of them were there just to see him, but still to have eyes on your project was really
Still
cool.
counts.
And then we did, and then we did hour-long Q&As after and got cool questions and did a lot of networking. But yeah, the in-theater experience and it being your project that people are watching, yeah, nothing compares to that. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, and I'd made a post about it earlier. A lot of people, like the most common question I get is, well, how do I get on set? How do I get into filmmaking? I want to make a film. I don't know where to start. This being a public event is probably the best way you can do it, because actors are going to be there, producers are going to be there, the director is going to be there.
Yep.
I'm happy to talk to people. I love talking to people. So come up, talk to me, ask me. I'll tell you. It's a black hole. It's a money pit, but it's the most fun you'll ever have. And there's a lot of people that reach out to me to help them in projects, and if they're local, like I'll gladly show up and run a camera for you, do whatever you need me to do. But this is probably the best way to network and get into filmmaking is a public premiere like this.
Absolutely. Networking is key. It's something that me and Joe actually have been working on quite a bit lately, and we're very, very happy to have you guys on. Where can people find more information about the film? What's your website? And is there anything else that you want to plug, your socials, future projects, anything? I'm just going to give you the floor for a minute. Go for it.
I mean, the biggest thing is the film. So please, please, please support the film, at least just by checking out the website, which is killemkindly.info. Gosh, I'm so glad we got that domain. But we have information on there about the cast. There's information on there about Cory. A bit of information about the film. The teaser lives on there. There's also the crowdfunding video, so if you want to get more information on why we chose this and what we were aiming to do from the beginning and then compare it to what we actually do. There's a lot there, but also if you're feeling generous and can support the film financially, we will not say no, because as Cory mentioned, filmmaking is a money pit. And thankfully, we've had a lot of support along the way, but we're always looking for more support. And then on top of that, it's the same place where you can get your tickets. So if you're interested in coming to the premiere, we've got tickets available there for donations, and we've got limited edition shirts that will only be available for pickup at the premiere. So we've got a lot of cool stuff on the website. I definitely recommend checking out killemkindly.info.
And where do we find each of you on the socials, on the interwebs? Start with Cory, since one of you already.
Yeah, I guess I'll go. Okay, I'm Tactical Dork on I think everything now that I'm currently on Instagram and on YouTube. Which if you look at my page, you hardly see my face. Like I said, everything we do is collaborative at this point, so it's not really me, it's just everybody's page at this point. But a lot of cool BTS goes up on my Instagram. The shorts is where I kind of give updates as to what's going on. I'm new to being on YouTube frequently. I'm learning that's what you have to do in order to maintain traction. So I'm trying to put out a post a day on there that'll say what we're working on, upcoming projects. I've got 3 I'm developing simultaneously, because the goal after Kill 'Em Kindly is to put out a 10-minute short every month or every other month, which is crazy. But it's I don't know. Something's pulling me in that direction, so I'm going to run with it for a bit. But
go for it.
All of our past films are on there. I encourage you to go back and watch. If you want to watch them in chronological order, it's Siege, even though it didn't release first, and then it's Hitters 1, 2, and 3, Respite, Vestige, and then it'll be Kill 'Em Kindly. And you can see where our quality has come from. So we're definitely, it's our
backwards.
Film. Yeah. It's our Oh, well, I'm sorry if you went from Vestige to
I went
first
Hitters. I stopped and went back to Hitters, and then Hitters 2, and then Hitters 3. Then I continued.
Yeah.
So
Hitters 3 is good. I like Hitters 3. It's a fun film. For something that was made on the fly. Our quality definitely has leaped because like I said, I've got Wayne in my pocket, Wayne Gassman of Gas Media. I'll tag him a bajillion times, and Karen, And anytime I have a question about like a program, a piece of equipment, anything new, I buy a lot of his old shit. He's more than happy to pick up the phone and walk me through it. And, he has to talk down to me because I'm a pretty simple-minded human being. But he's gotten me to where I am. Like, I know how to color grade. I taught myself effects, and they get better every time. Yeah, no, seriously. Yeah, I just muscle everything through. Yeah, those are my socials, Tactical Dork. And again, if you want to keep up with the technical side of filmmaking, Instagram and the shorts is probably the best way to do that. And then we'll probably just be posting straight movies to the main page.
Well, after this past week of preparing for this episode, I'm pretty sure I got nothing but filmmakers and indie filmmakers on my Instagram feed now. I was telling Sam this earlier. It's just like all these people. A lot of people that added us and followed us from your page and stuff like that. So it's a lot of great stuff. Sam, where do we find you?
I'm at goodgame_Sam on YouTube and Instagram. It's mostly just my face, not like Cory's profile. So I'll apologize in advance. But I would say, follow for me, but also follow us, because we do post a lot of like what we need on socials. When we need cast, crew, extras, anything like that, that's where we ask. We ask locally, we ask not locally. When we did the casting for One Eye Williams' role, we opened it up. It was across the United States. So it's not always just if you're in the area, come participate. It's sometimes it's larger than that. It just depends on what we can and can't do. But to Cory's point, like, if being a part of film in any capacity is something you're interested in doing, following us online is a great way to just know if we have anything available. And usually we're very open to working with people. So I would say it's a great resource.
That's amazing. And before we continue on, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah, I guess I'll go back and just, we do have 3 projects coming up, and it's going to be the same crew. It's going to be the same people in every single one of them. I don't know if we'll be doing crowdfunding or anything like that, or if we're going to start selling like a type of merchandise or something to kind of help fund those, because some of the projects are massive, and we have some really cool like tactical companies that are wanting to get involved with us that will offset some of that. But we do need all different types of support. Like Sam said, pay attention for casting, even if it's just to be an extra. That's where I started. I was an extra on a terrible film that never released in 2017, and that's kind of where I first caught the bug. But that's how you start. I mean, you get on set, be an extra.
A team of all-female special forces rescuing one of the girls' boyfriends, right? How
much deep dive did you go?
I told you, man. I dig into this stuff.
He does his research.
That is wild. So it was called All Terrain, and it was made for VR.
It's funny.
And it never released. It was some MMA fighter chick with the shittiest record you've ever seen. But obviously she looks good. I think she was from LA or somewhere in California. And then it was just a bunch of like models. It was obviously just a guy wanting to work with a bunch of women. And then some dude and some like jacked guy that's actually played like a bad guy, I think, in some bigger films. And then just this German kid who had built, before 360 video existed, those big rigs with all the GoPros, like 15 GoPros. And he would run around on a Segway and hold that for the scenes. And
wow.
I actually got a guy on my first film set, got a guy fired because he said he was a ranger from Vietnam. He was way too young to have ever served in Vietnam. And whenever he was doing our training on how to handle weapons, he would stick the buttstock under his armpit and walk around like this. And so I was like, hey, I know I'm nobody, but I'm not getting paid to be here. That guy's going to make you all look like idiots. He's like, can you come back? Can you come back next Saturday? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So we came back the following Saturday because they were shooting downtown Oklahoma City, and that guy was gone. But
amazing.
Yeah, that movie sucked. That movie was going to be stupid, and it never came out. But yeah, All Terrain, keep an eye out. Made in 2017, never to release.
Sounds
probably
like
for good reason. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's still cool. I mean, I was backstage and or in the back of the set watching everything. All the little moving pieces, the PAs, cameras getting set up, people doing makeup and props and all that. So. at the
That's
very
pretty
least,
awesome.
it was a good learning experience. But I guess I got off point again. But
You're
we
fine.
have a lot of projects that I want to get done, and they're gonna require a lot of support. And so just keep your ear to the ground. We always need, like, sometimes we're looking for like weird props that people might have. We always need extras. We always need PAs on set, or somebody that has, you know, experience with a camera or audio or whatever else, if they just want to jump on, because a lot of people work commercially, but they don't get to do like action films. So whenever that
Right.
opportunity arises, they're like, oh no, I want to do
Just to do
something
something
narrative
fun.
because yeah. As much as I like shooting, you know, people checking out at a grocery store, I'd like to do something else. So
Heck yeah.
yeah, I mean, if there was one thing I want to put out there, it's just that we need your help. So either watch our stuff or support our stuff or spread the word.
Message
All
received.
points bulletin, cast, crew, and equipment.
Yeah, always.
All right. We're
All
going
right.
to wrap up this show. Do a little bit of our last bit here. I'm not going to get into my play this week. We don't have time for that. But I will talk a lot about ESO next week and the fact that I found out that companions exist in the game. I forgot all about them. I'm going to get into that next week and how they work.
Okay.
I recorded some video of it, so we'll put that up. And did
Very
you
cool.
have something you want to cover really quick before we wrap it up tonight?
It looks like we do have a mod. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered is getting a multiplayer mod
It's based off the
Which I thought
Skyrim
was-
mod that they did.
based off the Skyrim mod. Yep. Absolutely. So that you can actually go into Oblivion and play with your friends. Whether it's the main quest, side missions, or dungeon crawlings, you can do it with your friends through this mod.
Yeah, if I remember correctly from the Skyrim mod, it could get pretty buggy at times on certain
imagine
quests.
so.
But yeah,
Mhm.
other than that, you can
Yep.
do it.
I feel like that's what people wanted 76 to be able to do, like those types of quests with
Well,
your friends.
it is
not,
now.
like- oh,
It is
really?
now, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. It's a totally different game.
I took a whole step back, not gonna lie.
Dude, I just started playing. If you hint, go back and listen to some of our other episodes or watch them. It took them like 7 months to get me into 76, something like that. They were trying to get me into it, and I had a bad experience early on, so I never went back to it. But I'm glad I did. For the most part, aside from the public events, it plays like a single player Fallout.
Okay. Well,
And it's-
maybe I'll
so-
get back.
Then
should
the
definitely
mod's
check that
name is
out.
just Oblivion Multiplayer.
Okay, that makes sense. So there you go. That's out there on Nexus. If you want to check that out, we got a couple of comments and reviews. Oh, in our comments and reviews section, we have comments. One was on that Deacon meme that I posted. You know, every time in Fallout 4, every time you turn around, if you knew Deacon was there, I think it took me probably 20, 30 hours before I realized this one dude was following me around. On my second playthrough, you see Deacon everywhere, a member of the railroad. And this one user on TikTok, Xena, says, my game glitched. So now in my Bob the Builder playthrough, I get an occasional naked Deacon. And it's not very can we fix it friendly. And that comment just cracked me up. Because sometimes his clothes don't load in. And then we had on our short about Xbox's AI helper. Joe, you want to talk about this one? You seem to have an opinion about it. There's like 3 different ways that it would be useful to have an AI, either multiplayer or farming.
I still think that anything that's not like, well, the third one he mentioned about having it play with you on a multiplayer or like a co-op style game.
Use for
That's the only
difficult
one I can
bosses,
say
was
that
the
would
other
be
one.
useful. Other than that, everything else is cheating. Like if you're using it to farm and things like that, to me that still feels like you're cheating in the game. If it's single player, then I don't care what you do. Have fun.
Yeah.
But if it's in a
If you guys
multiplayer game,
didn't
heck no.
hear about this, basically Microsoft released a patent, filed a patent for a AI helper in video games. So if you were struggling with a particular part of the video game, a little text box would pop up and then AI would play the game for you.
Man, I don't like that.
Is that lame or what? Yeah, exactly.
It's
I
garbage.
love looking
100%.
through a guide. Like, I have like a couple Fallout guides here, like the Bethesda ones, and they're great, man. Like,
Mhm.
I love the feeling of like taking a step
the
away
paper?
from my controller to flip through the page,
There you
and then
go.
reading and going, okay.
Oh, it was number 2 on his comment that he used. He said to use a simulated second player and multiplayer. But using it
The
to
only one I would
beat bosses? No,
not to beat bosses, and we talked about this last week. And now it's Google. It used to be the Prima guides back in the day. That was before Sam's time, but the Prima guides back in the day when, you have to buy them from the Walmart or the game store and it would be a whole guide on the game. Now it's just Google. I was like, I'll Google it. But I've also grinded for 8 hours trying to beat one boss as well. And it's not the same. Here, take my game and do it for me. Like, it's not the same. You don't get the same satisfaction out of it. But I will agree with what user, whatever the hell this name is supposed to be. I would absolutely use AI to farm. If I was like farming minerals or resources, so I would not be just like, here, go take care of that. I'm going to go play the main quest. I'm going to go do the side quests and stuff like that. And I'll let you do the farming. I would do that 100%.
Man, you think AI wants to do that? AI wants to do the fun stuff too.
No, that's not what AI is for. The clanker can go do the lame stuff. I'm going to do the fun stuff. Yeah, that doesn't end badly in every sci-fi movie ever. So that's pretty much it. I think that's the show, brother.
That's going to wrap it up. How do they reach us?
Well, they can go to our link tree. That's linktr.ee/wyrdkhaosmedia. Wyrd is WYRD, chaos with a K, media. And all of our links are there, all of our socials, all of our things. And if you want to contact us about business or advertising or anything, really, you can email us at wyrdkhaosmedia@gmail.com.
Please like and subscribe. Those 5-star reviews on Spotify and iTunes are a huge help. We really appreciate all that.
Again, Cory, Sam, absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks
Good luck with the premiere. I am so excited to see it. And now that I've gotten to watch some of your stuff, I'm excited to see what you come up with after this.
Hey, if I can get a ticket out there, I'll be out there to support you guys and check it out.
Do it. It's going to be fun.
Thanks again. I think that's it.
Yep. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching and listening, and have an amazing week out in the Bethesdaverse.
Peace out.
Please like and subscribe.
Go ahead, do your bit.
No, my bit first, and you can say again.
Oh, go ahead. Well, do your thing.
You're
go
messing
for it,
with
man.
my flow, man.
Waiting on you.
And again, what?